What up, YouTube? So this is going to be part 7 of the K24 TSX mr2 sw20 build, and today it's time to get this thing on the ground. So as you can see, we don't have any axles in, and we need the subframe installed, so we're going to be installing that today. We'll show you guys the subframe. It's all cleaned up, so we just got to go ahead and get this installed. That way we can throw the spindles back on, our B series axles that we have from Yonaka, and yeah, start finishing up the heater hoses, or at least start on the heater hoses. So we're gonna start doing the heater hoses and then the radiator hoses. I have the adapter. I'll be using like basically a filler neck that's adapted to the actual radiator hose itself instead of getting the K-tune one. It's just a lot cheaper for people who just want to get things going. And we're also going to be installing the idler pulley, which is the top pulley, which is going to go right here. We'll probably install the belt too. I believe it's a 52-inch belt for that one right there. So we'll get that going, and then most likely going to be having to bleed the slave cylinder and a couple other things. But first is first is we're going to take this intake off real quick, and then I'm going to show you where the heater hoses go, and then we'll come back and explain how I did the heater hoses, because some people kind of get confused on the way I did it. So I'm going to go ahead and start knocking this out, and then we'll come back and then show you how I routed the heater hoses so you can keep heater inside of your K-swapped MR2. Alright, so now I can show you guys the heater hoses, or just basically how I ran them so you guys can kind of understand. So this bottom one is gonna go into what I cut right here. I don't know if you can see it right there. So this is gonna go right there, and then this top one is looped around, and then it bypasses to go back into the motor. So basically these two would usually run into the heater hose or heater core, but instead I'm just looping them and then using this existing one, since we cut it right here, to run the top line, and then the bottom line goes to the other side where I cut. So that's all you have to do. This is just a mock-up. I'll probably be changing this to a real bypass hose because this one's kind of kinked right here. You can actually get them off of like a 88 to 2000 Civic. The bypass hose on the Civics actually will work fine. Next, we're going to be dropping in the subframe and getting ready to drop these axles in. So I'm going to go ahead and knock that out real quick, and then we'll come back. Alright, so we are back, and we finally got the subframe mounted all in now. It's starting to look a lot better. We're getting almost there to the point we can almost drop it on the ground. But first we got to install our axles, which are B series axles from a 94 to 2001 Acura Integra. Any model will work except for the Type R, but as far as RS, GS, GSR, all B series axles will work. I'll be using a RSX Type S half shaft, and they bolt right up to it, no modifications for that. Another thing we're going to be doing is installing the rear mount. Now that we got the subframe in, that'll be getting installed as well, and then we can come up and start putting the spindles on, and we can drop it on the ground and get onto the idler pulley. The idler pulley is off of 02 to 11 Civic Si. EP3 or FA5 FG2 is the same. So we'll be installing that, and then we got slave cylinder and a couple other things that we got to do, and we might be able to get this thing driving around. So I'm gonna go ahead and start knocking these axles out and get this thing on the ground, and then we'll come back. Alright, so now that we're back, we got our B series axles in, and we got our spindles all buttoned up and everything. So you will have like a little space, so don't worry about that. Just make sure you can gouge it in the hole as much as you can. I'll probably have to do a little bit more, but as far as that, axles are in, so we're basically ready to roll. I tightened up the heater hoses right now so far. I just have to go get 2 more clamps from the store to button up the rear. We gotta finish the throttle. I'm gonna go ahead and start installing my my belt. I got the 52-inch belt with the idler pulley right now. and then most likely we will be finishing the mounts. I just have that mount and the front one to finish up. I just got to bolt this to the transmission. The clutch is slightly bled, but I got to bleed it just a little bit more. I'll have clutch pedal, and hopefully we can get this thing started up again and make sure all the fluids and everything start bleeding the radiator, because it does take a while to bleed these cars, especially when you got heater. A lot of MR2s I've seen don't really run the heater, so they don't have to really worry about it, but since I'm running a heater on here, the flow takes a while to go through the whole system and everything. So anyways, right now we're gonna go ahead and start getting on the pulley. That would be, let's see, where do we have our pulley at? Right here. So I got a brand new pulley on here from AutoZone just to make sure. It was kind of squealing, so I'm pretty sure it needed a new bearing. So this is our idler pulley. It goes on top, so we're gonna throw that on with the belt right now, and then we'll be also, like I said, finishing up our back mount, put our front mount on, and we're gonna bleed the clutch a little bit more, and then we'll come back and see what else we need to do to get this car ready to go. All right, so now that we're back, I just wanted to show you guys that we got our heater hoses tied down now, so that's all ready to go. We got our belt and pulley all on there tight, so that's ready to go as well. I got my motor mounts from the back on and in the front. Just for a tip, make sure you keep all motor mounts somewhat loose before you tighten them all the way, especially the ones in the front right here, because the top one will end up trying to be crooked. So what you want to do, it's just the way the plate's designed, I guess, or the way it sits in here. So just a tip for that if you guys are doing that. Yeah, so everything is basically all buttoned up. Suspension, the car is back on the ground, as you can see. All we have to do now is get this adapter radiator hose so I can fill up the radiator, and everything's basically ready. I bled the clutch. Tip for if you guys want to bleed the clutch, you guys just want to fill up a cup maybe with some brake fluid. I'll show you an example. This is what I did with mine. I just dipped the whole slave cylinder in there into that cup and bled it through the actual slave cylinder until you see the bubbles come out, and that worked. I mean, someone helped me on that from Instagram, and that I did that on the Spider, which I couldn't even get to actually bleed, and once I did that, it was just night and day. So try that concept if any other thing doesn't work for you. Other than that, we just got to get this thing bled, put some fluid into the transmission, and then I'm waiting for the battery to charge up a little bit so we can take this thing on the road. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this radiator hose, get everything all tightened up, and then we'll come back and go for the first test drive. All right, so I just wanted to show you guys the radiator adapter that I used. So basically it's pretty easy. You just split the hose, cut it, and basically insert it, and then you can use a reservoir. I use for my RSX Type S, and that's it. Like I said, it's pretty simple. Now that the car is basically ready to go for a drive, all I have to do is the exhaust now, and then wire up the O2 sensors, which will be for the next video. So right now I'm gonna go ahead and shut the hood and we can go for a test drive. All right, so now we're on the road. Now we're gonna show you guys how this car feels for a little bit. It's open header, so we're not gonna be doing nothing crazy right now until we do the exhaust. So here, pass it over. the gauge cluster in.